Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new edition of the EKN Debrief. We haven't done this in quite a long time. This is a debrief from this year's U.S. Trophy Final, part of Race Rotax from Castle Motorsports Park. It is Friday evening. Practice is all done up. Rob Howden here. David Cole, of course, on the production. Henry Beaudette joining me, the voice of Rotax. Great to have you back again. I thoroughly enjoyed working with you last year.
Thank you very
back
much, Rob.
Again.
Yeah, thank you, Rich. It's a great honor to be invited back to this event. It's a great honor to work with you guys. We had a lot of fun last year. And this event, it's bigger and better this year. So, there's only more fun to be had. So we got 2 days of fantastic racing to go that I can't wait. Myself, yourself, Xander Clemens from Kart Chaser.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, right? For this year, right? Last year we did audio on e-karting. This year we're stepping things up. Xander's here with Kart Chaser. So those people who want to tune in throughout the world, full coverage, live video coverage throughout the entire the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
It is, and there's a lot at stake. I mean, this event is billed as Bahrain or bust.
Yeah.
12 tickets available for the 2023 Rotax Grand Finals at the Bahrain International Circuit. We went there in 2021, which is still sort of the hangover from COVID. There was lots of restrictions.
Yeah.
Not every nation could go. So what I think Rotax wanted to do, we wanted to go back there and see what Bahrain can do for us, with no restrictions. It's the Formula One circuit. So it's always the biggest party in karting. This year is going to be even better. But we've had some great running today, great on-track action, even though it's only been testing.
And here we are right in the middle of September, and we're not done yet in terms of who's going to be representing the U.S. or any of the other countries, for that matter, with open tickets here this weekend. Still a lot of spots left on national teams to see who's going to go to Bahrain to represent their country at this year's Grand Finals. The cool thing this weekend here, you and I were here last year, with 77 entries. Essentially a 50% growth up to, they had 113, a couple of drivers backed out, 111 entries, all told over 5 categories. Maybe the most important is 36 in senior max. That's the kind of event that brings people in year after year.
That's a full grid, and the numbers are one thing, but it's the drivers as well. We've got some top talented drivers. We've got Ryan Norberg is back, Danilo Ramos, Diego Conchecha. That's just in the one class. There's lots of drivers with previous experience at the Grand Finals. But 5 classes, 111 drivers, 12 different nations. I think that's another important thing.
I think it's big. Well, that plays the fact this is not only a national race, but because there's open tickets, it's an opportunity for people who maybe didn't get a ticket from their home races to come here to the U.S., come to Newcastle, one of our finest facilities, to get a chance to still get that open ticket.
Yeah, and I've been around the paddock, and there have been a couple of murmurings saying, well, maybe the USA team isn't going to be as big this year because, there'll be drivers from Canada, from the UK, from China, from Argentina, from Uruguay and Peru and Brazil that are here that might take a couple of Team USA spots. But my counter argument to that is that the drivers that do qualify for Team USA will be better prepared. And, next year, the drivers that don't qualify, they know how much harder they've got to work to get that ticket.
Well, and you and I talked to Oliver Hodgson, last year's winner, just before we came in to start the debrief here, and he said that people maybe over in Europe don't realize how competitive it is here. More guys coming over. We're getting a lot of big national or big international world champions that are coming to run. Morgado, attorney, are starting to come over here. The racers here are stepping things up, and I think he even said whoever's going to get the tickets here are going to earn them.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about how sort of Rotax is sort of rode back to the health that it was in maybe sort of 7 or 8 years ago. It took a dip, and now J3 competition, they're really working hard. You've got the team down, Grid 14 Motorsports down in Florida as well, working hard to bring Rotax back. But I think it's a microcosm. Karting in general in the US, it's on a real upward trend.
It is,
your coverage, Kart Chasers coverage, the teams, the factory drivers, the events, it's on an upward curve in karting as a whole.
Levels, right? Even the foundation, clubs, regional, even national level racing is the best it's probably been, all told, in 20-something years. So Rotax is coming in at the right spot. There's a lot of great sentiment, and I've talked to so many people in the paddock that haven't been on a Rotax for a while, and they are thrilled with the package.
Yeah, I speak to Chase Jones, one of the team owners for MPG Motorsport. He's saying, I haven't ridden Rotax in 10 years, and he was enjoying it. He said that his team, they've had sleepless nights. There was 2 nights where him, Race Liberante, and some of the other mechanics, they slept in the workship.
You are perfect on the segue, because guess who just walks in the door?
Look at that.
We're going to bring Chase Jones in from MPG Motorsports to come and sit down and talk with us.
His ears must have been burning.
That was absolutely perfect, Chase. Come and sit down, man. Listen, we'll segue in for you. We were just talking about the fact that there are so many teams that maybe haven't been part of Rotax in the last couple of years that are finding the package, are loving it, and excited to be here. You guys the same?
Yeah, I mean, same way for us. I was telling him earlier that it's just taken a lot of work to really get here. But, I think Rotax is starting to make a comeback, and I really enjoy the engine package and have gotten a lot of good feedback from all of our drivers, really. So it's more like driving a car, which I enjoy, and it's like new again for me, which is the fun part.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about the fact that the Mojo tire is a little bit softer as well. We've got some rubber down here right now. There's some grip out there. How's that?
Actually, man, like the past 2 days, I've been kind of like confused because I haven't raced rubber racing really all year, and the MG tire compared to the Mojo is quite different. And even today, I was still trying to play around with my driving style, and I feel like I've started to get the hang of it with having a really good last session, but you just have to be super patient because there's so much rubber laid down. And the tire that we're on for the senior classes feels good straight out of the pits. So, it's true rubber, and it makes the carts handle really well.
Let's talk about qualifying then.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you're out there banging laps, trying to get a feel for these tires. You said, and guys have told us it's kind of really good right out of the gate. Is qualifying going to be that first lap, getting it done?
I don't think so. I think you're going to see some guys come on towards like the lap 4 or 5. For me, it's been later in the session, so dialing tire pressure is going to be the huge thing there.
Okay, yeah.
Because in the briefing last night, one of the race directors, he said, I think time qualifying is an 8-minute session. You don't have to go out straight away, but after 3 minutes, the gate closes. So you've got to get out there within those first 3 minutes, and then it's a case of how long do you stay out there for? Because you've got 2 sets of tires to last you 2 days. It's pretty much a given that everyone's got to go new tire for qualifying, but then looking at the weather forecast, which may or may not cooperate, do you then save a brand new set of slicks for the main event, or if there's no rain and the temperatures keep on as they are, there's going to be so much rubber laying down. Do you face it with a new tire that gives you, it sounds strange, too much grip?
Yeah, for me, it's depends on what situation you're in after qualifying. So you either have a decent or good qualifying, then see how the heats go, or at least the first one, and kind of judge to where you need to be. I know in my previous experience, if we're not doing so well and need to gain ground, then we're going to utilize the second set. Hopefully that's not the case for us tomorrow, but I think you're going to see some guys, either mid-pack or towards the back, really start playing around with new tires. But I think, if weather cooperates, I think you'll see a lot of the field go new for the final.
Chase, let's talk about the fact that we're doing the debrief here now. So let's look at the times. Final practice for senior max. Diego Ramos, quickest, 104.293. Oliver Hodgson, last year's winner in second, your P3.
Yeah.
You feel good with a P3? Do you feel like the cart's pretty good?
Yeah, I actually kind of had a pretty frustrating day.
Saved it at the end?
Yeah, I had a battery go bad on me, and then weird deal with the clutch, and then the cart for myself didn't feel great really all day. It felt like it was super on edge. And then I said, man, there's one thing that I haven't done all day today, and I did it for the last session. I really liked it, and I went even more the last session. And now I feel like we are pretty dialed in, and I know where to go from there. And the cart's where I want it, and it's not where I thought we'd end up. But
a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
a pleasant
for sure.
surprise.
No, ending P3 today really is encouraging for the rest of the weekend, knowing that we have the speed, and now it's fine-tuning.
Let's take a quick time. I know we're talking about the race itself. Let's talk a little bit, just right now we have you here, about MPG Motorsports. You guys have come a long way in a couple of years. Yourself, obviously Billy Vincent, Race Liberante. You guys are digging. You guys are spending, you're sleeping on couches. You're making stuff happen. You guys are a fantastic American success story right now. How good does it feel? You've got the shop now at Whiteland. You guys are building out. You did your summer camps. You're doing all the work, right, that needs to get done.
Yeah, for sure. My family and my girlfriend don't love it because I'm constantly, on the road. And, but it's not just about me or race or really, any of the head guys. We want to have a great program for, kids to be able to follow into that path and develop them. And like you said, I mean, the story started in a 1-car garage almost 4 years ago now. Then we had half a building. Now we have a full shop with a, storefront that is still being developed. And during this whole crazy Rotax build deal that we had going on, our shop was under construction because now we're building mezzanine because we're out of space.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's been a grind. I mean, we've been seriously sleeping in the shop on the floor every night, and just to be able to come and race here. So, big story for sure.
As Robbie race, I used to race. You've prepped your karts. You know that. Being P3 and seeing in Minimax, seeing little Oliver Warner going P1, Gage Corn in Minimax so far up, that obviously gives you such a sense of pride that, okay, even though you phoned the girlfriend, your dinner's in the dog, and there's nothing yet, but just the hard work that you guys are putting in, you're benefiting, as a business person, you're benefiting, but your drivers are benefiting from the guidance that you're giving them, the performance. Those sleepless nights is translating into, fast cars.
Development, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just to touch on that, I mean, I think this is only the second time, really in the past couple of years, that myself and Race are racing on the same weekend. Like usually Rock Island is the only weekend us two go and race, and usually that's just for fun. But when we race ourselves, the tent doesn't operate, as well as we'd like it, but everybody understands that we're all going to still be on the same page, and just because we're racing doesn't mean our program's going to sacrifice anything from that. And honestly, I think from myself driving and race driving with all the rubber laid down, I mean it's been really good for all these kids to be able to sit down and tell me something, and I'm learning from them, they're learning from us, so it's cool.
Okay, so in seniors, you've got first and second tickets, one reserved, one open for the senior for the senior Rotax class. Third and fourth in seniors, one open, one reserved for the DD2 class. Now, Race has got a reserved spot. You don't. Going into the last corner, hypothetically speaking, I'm not trying to get anything. One of you's third, one of you's fourth. One gets a ticket, one doesn't. Do you sit behind Race and say, okay, Race, you go to Bahrain, or do you think, heck no, I'm going in. I'm going in. I want that ticket.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be kind of a toss-up there. I mean, my goal since I ran Rotax back in the day, I had a really good shot at it when I was younger. Ended up not working out, but my goal has been able to represent Team USA and go do the Rotax World Finals, and I'd really like to be a part of that. So if it comes down to the last corner, hopefully we're first and second, and then we can just shove through or whatever. But
otherwise,
we'll see.
We'll stress the friendship, and we'll come out the other side.
Otherwise, Billy Vincent's going to be playing peacemaker.
That's right.
That's why there's somebody pitted in between two of us.
That's a good call. Hey, Chase, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. We got a short show here. We got some more guys. Hey, best of luck, man. Somebody to watch out for, folks, for sure. As we know, he was quick. We got someone else to bring in. We got Frankie Mossman coming in here as well. Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned it very briefly, that one of the cool things about this race is the fact that it is a hugely international field. Frankie, come on in. A hugely international field with 12 different nations. And I think that's one of the things that the guys from J3 were hoping for, was to simply have the opportunity for this, to have the open tickets, to give it a chance for drivers to come over here to run Newcastle, be part of this race.
Yeah, because it's a way of helping to grow. On one respect, like we touched on earlier, you may not get as many Team USA drivers, but it's been 10 years since we had a Team USA driver win. You want the drivers that do wear the stars and stripes to be on top of their game. This event, they will be on top of their game because they will have had to fight tooth and nail every corner of every lap.
Frankie's nodding his
he's
head.
nodding already, and it's only practice.
Yeah, so Fast Frankie Mossman joining us here as well, running for Mike Doty Racing here this weekend. P4 in final practice. Does that make you feel pretty good, or is it like there's still lots of work to be done?
I mean, I definitely think that we had a little bit more into it.
Oh, really?
It just
the track positioning. There's so many people out there.
I saw that.
There's a lot of different stuff, a lot of chaos. It's hard to get a good position here, especially you need that draft. And that's a big part of it.
We didn't ask Chase this. How did the track develop from, there was a lot of guys on track yesterday on official practice, 75 degrees and warm today. How was it from the start of the day to the end of the day? Are you feeling like we're going to have a ton of grip when this is all done?
I mean, definitely, I think in the morning once it cools down, because, at the start of the day today, with the air temp and everything, the Rotaxes are a little bit finicky with that, and they tend to appreciate the cooler air.
Okay.
And so I think we're going to be going a second and a half quicker once qualifying rolls around tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously qualifying, Chase touched on it a little bit. You've got 2 sets of tyres. Hypothetically, would you be one of those drivers that if qualifying goes wrong, you're in the wrong track position? Do you risk going on new tyre for one of the heats to give yourself a better position? Or do you think, okay, I'm going to just have faith and stick with the older tyre and save that new set for the final?
Yeah, my goal is the final. I mean, that's what we're looking for and everything. Being at the front of the heat race and getting good points and setting yourself up is a long-term goal. But we're here for the ticket and everything. And so having the best advantage that you can and the opportunity for that final part of the weekend is what you want to look for.
We've seen drivers come from deep in the field here before you were born, probably, Frank. At least not in the last 5 years. When we were here before at a Grand Nationals, where guys have come from deep in the field. Running reverse national with a big run down to I-70.
Yep.
If somebody blocks into that corner, that brings everybody back in.
Yes.
If you block back into the scoreboard corner, the next long hairpin to the left-hand hairpin, people can block there. That's one of the things, Frankie, you've driven here many times before. This is a track that you have to have patience on, because as soon as people start defending, everybody's back in the fight, right?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, since we started coming here for that 2-week stint back in 2020, we saw that like when I was racing X30 Junior. I came all the way back and gained, I think, something like 40 spots all the way back to the podium from starting last.
Yeah.
And there was people that had gained even more than me and won the race. And so it's possible. With that toe and everything, it's a major impact. I think it's even bigger than once we start running counterclockwise. And so, it takes a lot out of it, and it's a lot more thought, and it's a long-term game, especially.
Let's think about this, too. This is kind of a cool factor with Frankie here. So at the end of August, start of September, you moved to the USF Pro Championship. So you ran the USF Pro 2000 car, right? So you're talking 250 horsepower, lots of downforce. You ran Circuit of the Americas, you ran Portland, and now you come back to your roots here in karting. Did it take any time to kind of shake out, or were you right back in the karting mind?
It definitely did, especially I definitely shook down the brand new kart with the little incident in the final practice yesterday.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, bent the kart quite a lot, and so it was just something that I needed to get back used to. That kind of woke me up a bit, and it brought me back today, and we were a lot stronger and a lot more pace than we had yesterday, and it was just it's a whole different driving style. It takes a lot more patience, especially with this package. I think that you learn a lot more. That helps with that transition. So I feel that the Rotax is just a lot more favorable to my driving style and making me better as a driver in general.
And it's one thing. So Chase was talking a little bit about how he was struggling because the rubber going down. Having those couple of the US Formula 4 2000 races, those cars where rubber goes down on a car. You're probably in a little bit of a better situation to cope with the fact that the track is going to change so much, because you're a support race there. You've got IndyCars, you've got other
Portland,
things.
Yeah. It goes down.
So you're more used to dealing with changing track conditions, even though the Mojo tire is different than what you race in a single seater. Yeah. But in terms of that concept of adjusting your style, you're probably in a pole position to deal with that, over some of the other drivers that think, wow, the MG doesn't normally put this much rubber down. Possibly an advantage?
I hope so. Definitely coming towards the end of the weekend, that's going to come into play, and I think we're going to find out.
All right, Frankie. Great, bud. Thank you very much. All right, let's roll in again. The debrief here from the Racers Grill at Castle Motorsports Park. Rob Howden alongside Henry Beaudette. Henry, let's just jump through before we bring. We got one more guy to come in to join us here before we wrap things up. Oliver Hodgson, last year's winner, waiting in the wings. Diego Ramos, quickest out of the gate for PSL Karting. Very happy with that. I know he was. Oliver Hodgson was second. Chase Jones, Frankie Mossman, Josh Rampel up at the top 5. Some big names, and one name I don't know if he did not go out on track, but we don't see Ryan Norberg in the top 10.
No, I did. I couldn't see. I think Ryan. I did see Ryan go out, but again, people who was on what
Who
tire.
put tires on?
Who was on what tire.
That's
So I think everyone had 2 or 3 tires.
Yeah.
Very quick, Yash Rampal, he came within 2 corners of qualifying last year. He missed out by 1 place.
That's right.
That's to Portimao. So
right.
again, a driver with a lot to play for.
You mentioned Oliver Warner, a 109.4 in the mini class on the MPG Motorsports car with Chase. Ryan Shandor was second. Isaac Malkit running for PSL Karting in third. Gage Korn and Fionn Shi, a couple drivers.
Yep.
No strangers to the Team USA.
Yep. Both Gage finished 8th last year in Portimao and raced in Bahrain in 2021. Fionn Shi finished a little bit further back in Minimax, but again, he's made his debut as Fionn, so he knows what the prize is. But again, you talk about that. Oliver Warner from the UK first, and then you've got Ryan Chandler, Canada second, Isaac Malkut
international, right?
International. So that the American drivers, they've got to work doubly hard to get that ticket.
Some cool stories in Masters Max right now as well. I think everybody's expecting they're going to be kind of chasing Ben Cooper, obviously.
Well, yes, but
they think they're going to be chasing them, but it didn't happen in the final practice session. Again, tires. But Mundy Lawyer was the fastest driver on track.
Mundy Lawyer, and again, I'm really looking forward to Masters. Yes, Ben Cooper again, who's I think who's won a grand finals before. Yeah. Certainly been on the podium a couple of times. He put his entry in yesterday morning. Mundy Lawyer started karting in 1977.
That's amazing.
For Peru. He's driven at the grand finals before. But I think that the favorite, Billy Cleveland as well.
I was going to say, Mundy Lawyer P1, Billy Cleveland P2. Cleveland's been racing for 40 years, too. We've got a couple of guys here who have been racing for probably 80 years together. Billy Cleveland told me this will be his last national level race. He's going to do some regional stuff, but this will be his last national. He would love to get back to Team USA.
This is the last dance,
as
it were, the last dance with Billy. But yeah, he'll be the heartstring favorite, the emotional favorite.
Of course, yeah. But again, like we talk about Cooper, you talk about these emotional favorites, but you can't count out Derek Wang.
Look, he's got a ticket already.
Yeah.
So he knows he's got a ticket already, but he's going to be strong.
In the junior category, Wesley Gundler was the fastest driver. Turner Brown, Nathan Dupuis, a couple of drivers from Speed Concepts right there. Jackson Wolney from Rawlson Performance Group has got a bunch of podiums this year. Yep. And then Ty Fisher rounding out the top 5.
Again, Jackson Wolney, he's raced in the grand finals before. I was 2 years ago, or 2022, Rotax with the trophy down in Florida. Wes Gundler and his dad Chris turned up, never having driven a Rotax before. They thought, we'll try it once. And then they came back and they did that. This year at the Rotax with the trophy, he won a final, and he comes in now with a chance. We call him Top Gun. Top Gun.
I like that a lot. That's good.
Got a chance. He's got a chance.
In the micro category interest, we've seen Lucas Palacio running in the mini categories throughout the other categories, but he's young. He's only 9 years of age, so easily within limits to run the micro category. He was quickest. Lucas Tarango was in second. Enzo Di Gennaro in third. Tyson Underwood and Cam Becker rounding out the Fast Five in the final session.
Last year, Marco Samut took the ticket in Micromax. He went undefeated all year and then finished in the top 20 in the grand finals. This year, Mr. Palacio, he's won UKPS, he's won Stars, he's won SCUSA. This could be a 4. So, again, could he go undefeated the whole season and get the ticket? We'll see. He's got Martin Pierce working with him.
That's it. And has been for a couple of years,
yes, who's a very, very experienced guy.
And knows Rotax as well.
Very much so.
All right, let's bring one more guy, and he's waiting in the wings here right now. Again, we talked about the fact that back in 2013, he was able to win a championship, a grand finals at NOLA Motorsports Park. Oliver Hodgson will join us here from J3 Competition. Mike is on. Oliver, you're going to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us, man. Defending race winner. What kind of pressure does that give you coming into this weekend?
I wouldn't say pressure, I guess. No? I'm one of those weird drivers who I probably like that. Okay. I mean, the bigger the event, kind of the more eyes on it, I get excited. Yeah. So from that side, genuinely, excitement.
I know we talked about this. We did a quick interview for when we did our paddock walkthrough, talking about that win you had at NOLA Motorsports Park at the grand finals. You go back, it's 10 years ago. Do you remember it vividly?
Yeah, I do. It was, I guess one of those special moments. And at the time I was racing Senior Max in England, doing that weekend in, weekend out, and came in there with a lot of confidence. And I really enjoyed the track there that weekend. Although it's got long straights, had lots and lots of corners on the infield. And it was just, I think, I don't remember dropping I just remember having a steely focus all week. We were, everything was in harmony and linked up. And it was awesome. Amazing feeling to get that done in that kind of stage in front of the world.
The first time we had the race in America too. So big for Rotax. A lot of eyes were on the fact that we were here in the US for the first time.
No, exactly. And no, I think it was an unforgettable, week in terms of the weather wasn't that great. Maybe that played into, the British drivers' hands on that occasion. You've come full circle now. Really, you've got Cooper O'Clair that you're mentoring. You're doing a lot with J3 competition. You're passing down that knowledge, that experience, and you're seeing firsthand. Myself and Rob been talking about the growth of American karting. You're seeing it firsthand, bringing drivers on. You won last year by 6 seconds. The chances of that happening this year are very, very slim indeed with the competition you've got. But you're seeing you're helping a new generation of American talent come to the front.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can't, maybe not by design completely, but I feel very privileged to be in American karting in this period where I think there's obviously been a lot of talent within the country itself, but I feel like the equipment is getting over kind of the years more narrowed down to being the same around the world, and we're seeing manufacturers send more top drivers over here, and yeah, the racing's really good here at the moment. So that's a pleasure to be in the market, in the sport here at that time. And
you may not know this, Rob, but Oliver's in England, from the east of England, Norfolk, Kings Lynn. Martin Brundle, now a former Formula One driver and commentator, not quite as good as us on the commentary, and a certain George Russell, Kings Lynn, but only one of those three is a grand finals champion.
That's true.
And it's not George or Martin. We're with him now.
True enough. So what's the thought? What's the expectation for this weekend? Going back at it, like, do you feel after today? Do you feel pretty comfortable?
Yeah, I feel really good. Okay. I'm under no illusion of how tough the racing will be. So yeah, I'm just excited to go do it now. And yeah, it's going to be trying the minimal amount of mistakes and race well. And
that's it.
I'm sure it'll be tough, and it's going to be tough all the way through.
Now, you already have a ticket done, though, right?
Yes.
That's the one that's like not a lot of people that come in here with that ticket already locked, right?
Yes.
So you're already going to the grand final. So you're just here to kind of make a mark, I think.
Yes, and I think I see it honestly of being able to execute it well here is almost like lining up to be out as practice or
agreed
being ready for those grand finals.
Yeah, putting your, like you said, on a big race like this where the pressure's there, this is an opportunity for you to kind of hone the sharp edge, right? Like, understand what I need to do to come out of the gate and go from start to finishing on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tougher this race is, the better for me, because hopefully, whether it's success or not, I need to come away from here as ready as I can be for Bahrain.
It talks about the psychology of racing as well. Like, you thrive on the pressure. So you got your ticket in the Canada finals. So you've beaten a group of drivers there, some of whom will get a ticket elsewhere. To come here and then beat another group of drivers, some of whom will get a ticket or already have, psychologically, that puts a marker down for you as well.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think of it that way. I had a more simplistic. I want to
win.
Have
wagon. We'll go fast.
But, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
But listen, that's a mental game. Like, when you're rolling in somewhere and you got to beat these guys, I've already beat these guys. When I get to Bahrain, I'm gonna be the guy to beat. Right? That's kind of the key.
Your role at J3, is really expanded. Talk about how very, very quickly, because I know we got to wrap up. But yeah, your role as a mentor now at J3, the work you've done. You've got the visa out here. You've been here for 3 years?
Yes, yeah,
I haven't seen you in the Stetson and cowboy boots yet.
I've been really it's probably coming up on 2 consistently. I got out here for like a 3-month period before that, and yeah, I really enjoy what I do. So I get to run a coaching program for J3. It's not comp car only, just putting that out there, because obviously J3 does have the comp car brand, but the coaching program is not comp car specific, because it's genuinely focused on drivers, not the chassis brand. And yeah, I've fortunately got to help or be part of helping a lot of drivers. And I've got obviously some you mentioned there, Cooper, who's been doing extremely well this weekend. And yeah, my target with that is to genuinely to give back and help that progression for drivers as much as possible. And it's one of the most satisfying jobs, I think, probably anywhere in the world. I'm sure teachers around the world have the same satisfaction getting to watch that person grow, and
week in and week out, right? You see this, even the small little, that incremental growth all the time, right?
and through the good and the bad. It's
true.
yeah, because it's picking them up when they're down and and watching them develop. Yeah, I can
away
totally
from the karting side. You went from the UK to Arizona. What Phoenix is not cool. It's not rainy.
Yeah, genuinely, I love it because we can go kart all year round. And there's loads of mountain biking trails.
That's great, and there's a lot of biking trails. That's true. That's good. Well, listen, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's wrap things up. This edition of the Debrief, Henry. We got ourselves a incredible couple of days coming. That's like today. Just felt we were all here.
Yes.
Everybody was on track, but we're all waiting for tomorrow morning.
I gotta say that yesterday the atmosphere was quite relaxed. It was still a relaxed atmosphere today, but down the grid, there was less joking about. There was more. The drivers were in their karts, helmets, visors down, focusing. A lot quicker and earlier than they were. There was a lot less laughter on the grid. In the paddock, plenty of good times and laughter. On the track, it's really getting serious. I can't wait to get started.
We obviously rock and roll tomorrow. We've got qualifying. We have 3 rounds of heats. Then, of course, we have the pre-final and the final on Sunday. One more question for Oliver. With this track, as long as it is, and all the passing opportunities, is qualifying going to be that important? Or do you just need to be in the top 5 kind of a thing?
It's still important because I think it can keep a easier cadence during the heats. Okay. But, yeah, I think it'll definitely make your job easier, but it's certainly possible to come from way further back. So, and that's as simple as it gets. Yeah.
All right, folks. So tomorrow on Kart Chaser, Henry Beaudette and I will be in the booth. We're going to have Xander Clemens, the veteran himself, down on pit lane. So we're going to have a solid driver, a guy down on pit lane. We're going to have a lot of great coverage throughout the entire. We cut a bunch of interviews today as well. Those will be on the broadcast tomorrow. If you can't watch the Kart Chaser broadcast, we'll also have it on eKarting News, the audio on ekartingnews.com/live or ekartingnews.com/radio. Final words before we shut things down?
There is absolutely no excuse not to watch and listen to this event. The road to Bahrain started in January. The road is almost over. This is Bahrain or bust. This is the final American stop on that road, and I can't wait to find out who gets those tickets.
And I think for me, it's all the drivers, all the teams, all the families have been working all year long through the Trophy East and the Trophy West programs to get here to this U.S. Trophy Final. And, of course, everybody from J3 competition as well. They've worked their tail off to put this program together, starting the planning after the race last year to get here this weekend at Castle Motorsports Park. It is going to be 2 great days on Saturday or Sunday. You can follow all over on Kart Chaser and eKarting News. As we know, it is going to be some great racing. Good to have Oliver with us here as well. On behalf of Henry Beaudette, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.